November the 11th, 2025, because I got something that I've been paying attention to the last few days, especially as far as looking at the technical reasons of what I'm about to talk about. Now, everybody in the U.S. knows we're in a financial crunch. We know it because we feel it, everybody feels it. And Trump keeps saying things like, if the Supreme Court, which right now they're live, I think audio wise, as far as they're just trying to decide on if Trump really has the power to impose tariffs on all the nations. Trump is saying if the tariffs are not imposed, then the country's going to go bankrupt. We're really in trouble. As a matter of fact, him and a couple of guys there are saying it's a national security issue. And because they know we're broke. And I think that has a lot to do with what's happening in the Senate with withholding SNAP and holding back on sending billions into Obamacare, things like that is happening, guys, is because we are broke. Now, I can tell because, throughout, we've been on here for over a dozen years, and you can just tell people buying supply food and things like that, how the economy is, right? And everybody's feeling it. I'm sure there's some very wealthy people that don't care and that are not feeling it except from their voters, and you know who they are. Anyway, so wanting to look at it and try to find out really what's going on. But the big deal is the nation is broke. They do, and there's people that are talking about it that are in the know. And they're saying they cannot say anything about it to mainstream media or to really anybody else because it's so bad right now here that there would be an overnight bank run on what's left. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this has been something I wanted to talk about, and I've got 3 or 4 different things that fit into this puzzle. But I think the reason I'm doing it is because of the concern of how people are acting and preparing or not preparing. And it's very important. I'm not trying to sell you anything at all because very little of what I'm talking about applies to our products, not that. But it's everywhere. And the thing is, if we know we're going to see, if SNAP doesn't come back in, that's 25% bottom line for Walmart, companies like that. That affects trucking, everything like that. That's an issue, right? But people are always going to need food. But what's happening is the markets are collapsing big time, but they will not talk about it in the mainstream media. They have been told not to. Now, on this page, for instance, you got right here, this is 21 hours ago from Mike, the credit guy. Account frozen overnight. 86 million accounts just frozen. And this got my attention a few days ago because I was seeing videos of different people that are saying, I've got 5 cards, I can't access any of them. I've got money in all of them. And then another lady came on, and she's a financial advisor and whatever, economist. And she was saying that the big hit is going to not, even though the homes and cars are in trouble, and we're going to talk about that, the big hit is going to come from commercial real estate. Why? Is because the big companies are in trouble. And they are really the people that prop up the stock market, and the stock market has been falsely propped up as part of this lie and deceivement. And Trump and them don't want to really say that we're dead broke because they don't want a bank run either. It would be negative for the country. And I hate to even talk about it, but I've got too many friends out there that need to hear this because you better start preparing. You thinking about going on a trip or flying somewhere or buying something, a new something here or there. Guys, what if this happens to you? 86 million accounts just frozen. What are you going to do? You better, and look, we know trouble's coming down on us. It's biblical. People will be tried. They will be refined like silver if they make it. 86 million accounts just frozen. Now let's skip Aquaman down. He's got him a little card. But here, this is Michael Cohen. Bank reserves vanish after critical $400 billion loss. Now, what just happened in the Senate? And guys, I'm going to look at the stock market and the charts, and you're going to see what happened yesterday when it did not get it voted through for us to put billions back into the pockets of the insurance companies as their profits are up 1,000%. Began bank reserves vanish after critical $400 billion loss. Up here with Mike, the credit guy, 86 million accounts just frozen 21 hours ago. Now I've got several things I want to cover, so I'm not digging deep into them, guys, but all you have to do is look at the topics of what we're talking about. If you want to dig deeper, you can go to YouTube and look at 1,000 videos on this, and then look at your stock market reports, things like that, banking reports. But here, at the top, 3 months ago, foreclosure spike alert, first half of 2025. 2 months ago, why home buyers' remorse is exploding. Guys, not only the housing foreclosures are spiking, it's wiping out everyone's credit, but the repos on the cars are doing the same thing. Nobody has the money. And they're propping up a fake scenario. Now, I'm not just leaning on YouTube for my information at all, guys. I'm just going through the topics here. Again, Epic Economist 1 month ago, prepare for housing crash. 3 weeks ago, top U.S. cities with the highest risk of foreclosure in 2025. The housing collapse begins. Foreclosure explodes 1 month ago as mass layoffs hit homeowners. And now that, again, this is a month ago. This was before federal workers and everybody were in trouble, and their credit was getting crushed. They couldn't borrow from the AAFF and all that bunch of, the military lending companies, that group. And so that just piled into the problem with the banks. In other words, it was already going downhill. Then we had 40 days of people not getting paid, standing in food lines because the Democrats were trying to get their Obama health care, which we found out they're getting back most of the profits to themselves to prop up their phony cities and their phony programs. Phony in the fact that most of it's grifted back to them. But anyway, we got cars repossessed, we got homes going down into foreclosure. And again, remember in the video I watched last night, they said watch for the commercial real estate market, because when that crashes, what happens? That's the big money, okay? And then we already see the homes and the cars. Now here, this is 5 days ago. Michael Bordonaro, seen him many times. Repo crisis explodes nationwide. Millions losing their cars. They don't have the money. We don't have the money. And I thank God that I've always bought used vehicles, worked on them, and kept them up, and paid for them when they left the lot. Car repossession surge reaches highest level since 2009. This is 2 weeks ago. But now, if you want to dig into today's topics, you can take the time to do it, because since last night, when the insurance company got slapped in the face and said, you're not getting all these billions of dollars right now, things really started going downhill. And again, what's happened is not only mainstream, but the companies like CNBC that are the stock market reports and all, they are, of course, NBC is fake, and they're part of the network, but their job is to lie about what's really happening as it is to report what's happening. Now, they use the numbers from the NASDAQ, the Dow, S&P 500 and all, but in their articles, they're very biased. But I want to show you what's going on. Now, guys, you just need to share this video, because we are in a crisis. That's why our president is saying it's a national security crisis. And now, what I think I found is that crack that is widening and getting deeper is the fact that the NASDAQ has been doing very good. It's about half the price of the Dow, which is common, but it's been really doing good. Now it's not doing so good. Cracks are starting to show there, and it is because of two fake things, AI and Bitcoin. And what's happened, AI has expanded so fast that they outgrew their capability, one, of power and of control, electricity and things like that. But the scale of the big companies that need them are not doing good. Now, you talk about people like Core, and that is one of the big AI-based systems. It underlies people like Meta, Facebook, people like that. But now, I just wanted to show you a couple of things. 5 hours ago, big short investor Michael Burry accuses AI hyperscalers of artificially boosting earnings. That's what I'm talking about. And that is what has propped up the false stock market, AI and Bitcoin. SoftBank just sold out of NVIDIA an hour ago. NVIDIA is big. Palantir rallied to resume despite Burry's short bets according to the charts. Airlines warn flight cancellations will continue even after shutdown ends. They were already there before it began anyway because of what the 4 years of Sleepy Joe did to the aviation system. It was all DEI and nobody was really paying attention to anything. But now we're talking about Bitcoin and AI. I want to show you something. Now, when these big boys crack, and they are propping up, again, AI and Bitcoin, and these are the base systems that support both of those groups. When it starts cracking, guys, then you know it's been propped up. And again, they oversold everything. And most AI online is almost free, so there's no profit there. And they don't have the data centers, and they don't have the big companies that was going to buy all of this product. Now, to me, that's a good thing, except it's going to kill the economy, because I'm not for these big power data centers that are crushing the electric grid and driving people out of their homes. And AI, guys, is a way to dumb down the entire populace because you lose the ability for critical thinking. Push a button or say something, and then write that down, or it prints it out for you, whatever, and you never had to stop and really think. And so you're dumbing yourself down if you use it very much. But Core Scientific Incorporated, this is a 5-day chart. Let me pull it down just a little bit. Notice on the 11th, yesterday, or today, after the market closed last night, woke up without a deal to the big insurance companies. This thing just kept going down. Now, Core Scientific Inc. provides a digital infrastructure for high-density co-location services and digital asset mining. The company operates dedicated, purpose-built facilities for digital asset mining, that's Bitcoin, and is a provider of digital infrastructure software solutions and services to its third-party customers. Its digital asset hosted mining segment consists of its digital infrastructure and third-party hosting services for digital asset mining. That's your big Bitcoin people. Its co-location segment consists of providing high-density co-location services for third parties for graphics, processing units, GPU-based high-performance computing, which is HPC operations. It employs its own large fleet of computer miners to earn digital assets for its own account and to provide hosting services for large digital asset mining customers. And it is in the process of allocating and converting a significant portion of its 10 facilities. Now, they're in trouble because one thing I saw yesterday, and I think I mentioned it late in the afternoon, Trump had talked about they may have to loan these AI companies billions to build their power plants. Now, what they need to do is back way up and get into the real world. So again, Core is part of this system. Guys, let me pull this up. We are dealing with Bitcoin, USD coin matrix right there. This is 1 day. You can see what's going on with it. And it started again this morning. It's been kind of going down a little bit, but this morning after, again, with the government shutdown, you've got multiple things factored there. Grifting is going to be cut off from the insurance companies. People are not paying their, they were already couldn't pay their house note or their car note, and so that was exacerbated by the shutdown. But I think the shutdown had to occur or the grifting would not have been exposed and we would have really went broke a lot quicker. So Again, the politicians that are trying to keep this thing together cannot come out openly and say that the banks are closing, that they're broke. They're desperately trying to pull in tariffs to cover that up. And it's not out of just trying to hide something in that sense. It's trying to stop an overnight run on the banks. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Not enough people will see this video to make a nationwide run, believe me. But my friends will. Now, I want you to just research into this, call your banks, check on your cards, things like that. But again, stop, pause for a moment on anything you're about to buy, toys, houses, real estate, whatever it is. Most of us don't even play in that realm as far as real estate. But back it all back down, circle the wagons. Things are about to get real rough, and we know that there's a tribulation of man coming. And that means by man. It's not God's fault what's coming. It's our fault and the people of this planet that have lived on greed and grift and murder and lying. And that's coming to an end, and we're seeing it right here. Again, it's not just Bitcoin. Now, at this point in the video, it's 3:03 p.m. Central Time, and the stock market just closed at 3. Now, until just a few moments ago, SoFi was up. It was the only thing green in this market, but now it's going down. Here's Bitcoin, Ether, Sol, CLSK, and they're all down. It says Gemini shares sink after reporting wider than expected loss in Q3. And it talks about this crypto world. All of it's being affected. Again, right, we're live at CNBC an hour ago on today's episode of CNBC's Crypto World. Major cryptocurrencies fall after rallying the day before on hopes of what? That the record-setting U.S. government shutdown could be nearing the end. That's what I was showing you, that drop-off after the vote last night. The Democrats didn't get anything. And these people, a lot of them, are tied in with Democrats. They promote their policies of cheap labor by illegal immigrants and things like that. It says, again, the fall was after rallying the day before on hopes that the record-setting U.S. government shutdown could be nearing an end. Why would this affect them so bad? Because that grift of billions of dollars was about to be put back into the grifting world network of the Democrats. Plus, Gemini shares sank after the crypto exchange reported a wider than expected loss. They've been kind of laying low on reporting this. CNBC hates to report it. And Alexander Bloom, CEO of 2Prime, breaks down his predictions for crypto in 2026. Again, all of this is live at CNBC. Now, I didn't go into detail on a lot of it, but guys, you've got to let this sink into your mind, because if you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail, right? And we are at that turning point. Look at what's going on with the Senate. Again, this article is verifying what I said. It has everything to do with billions being cut off from the Democrats and their grifting agencies. This is one of them. AI. And again, they need to be shut down because it is been reported that when things like this happen, too much AI or artificial intelligence gets going in certain regions of the world, again, the people are dumbed down. And Elon Musk is talking about putting out 1 million robots a year right now. But we know Elon, and he can go either way, but once I think he gets this information, let it sink into his head, he may back down on those numbers a little bit. Again, we need to circle the wagons, go back to reality, to the basics of our planet, and go from there. This is getting way out of hand, guys. I hope that a handful of you realize what I'm talking about and prepare. Again, stop what you're doing. Get everything in your house in order. Be prepared. Every penny to something to prepare with. No extras right now, because they're going to be gone so quick with the credit ratings falling out of sight for people who have done nothing. So heads up, guys, be safe.